Did you ever get the feeling that you were about to catch a cold? Or maybe a vague pain in the back? Taiwan has a time-tested solution to these tricky situations. Medicinal spirits. These spirits come in many different forms. A ginseng elixir for boosting energy, or a snake-infused spirit for... Well, we'll get to that later. What I just mentioned aren't just mere drinks. They are a cultural experience passed down for generations by people who believe in the power of drinking your way to wellness. Hi, I'm Paul Peng Wang, an expert in the field of alcoholic beverages with over 20 years of experience. Join me and delve into the wonders of Taiwanese medicinal spirits in this episode of Taiwan on the Rocks. What makes medicinal spirits so appealing? In fact, medicinal spirits exist in almost every Asian culture as part of food therapy. According to food therapy theories, alcohol accelerates the absorption of beneficial ingredients in food. This is why alcoholic drinks are often used in cuisines, not just for flavor, but also for enhancing the healing effects of certain ingredients. In Taiwan, medicinal spirits is one of the most popular forms of food therapy. These spirits containing medicinal extracts allow people to achieve the desired health benefits simply by drinking. Happily tipsy and healthy. Why not? Medicinal spirits could be served neat, on the rocks, or mixed with other soft drinks. In other words, it's up to you. While the history of medicinal spirits dates back a very long time, there are no rules for enjoying them. Some Taiwanese medicinal spirits are produced in large quantities, yet you may have never heard of them. The reason why? The enthusiasm for medicinal spirits of the local community alone could keep a considerable economy afloat. Gin was originally devised as a medicinal aid. Similar to gin, most Taiwanese medicinal spirits are made from botanicals. However, not all medicinal spirits are vegetarian. Some are incorporated with animal parts, such as tiger bones. Now that wildlife conservation has become a public consensus, certain animal-derived ingredients are no longer seen in medicinal spirits. The deep-rooted medicinal spirits culture in Taiwan has found ways to adapt to changes. There are plenty of alternative ingredients that possess similar healing properties as their animal counterparts. From ginseng to goji, from deer antler to centipede, from snake to bee, pretty much everything could be infused in medicinal spirits. You name it. Have you ever taken traditional Eastern medicine? Some may taste pretty good, while others are shockingly bitter. What are the medicinal herbs commonly used in spirits? Let's learn more about these ingredients and their purported benefits according to ancient wisdom.
我们药酒的历史最早可以追溯到马王堆出土的文物里面有记载，汉朝时期所留下来的一些药酒的处方。所谓的药食同源，就是说它既是食物也是药物。我们一般在吃的食物里面，它可以让我们有一些增强免疫力啊，抵抗外来的疾病啊。民众要来买泡制药酒的药材，最主要的就是第一个要有功效，再就是泡出来的药酒要好喝。喝药酒最主要就是要强筋健骨，再来就是壮阳。大概以这方面去做搭配药材，像鹿茸、蛤蚧或者是海马，都是属于比较壮阳补肾的药材。这些都是已经算是泡药酒里面算是非常高档的药材了。我们一般都会至少泡个半年、1年，或者是甚至更长的时间，所以我们一般都会选择分量加倍，比煎煮的剂量还要多。如果民众有要泡比较像动物类的药酒的话，要使用酒精浓度高的酒精来做泡制，至少要像58度的酒精，这样子它才能破坏掉动物的蛋白。 达到杀菌的作用，这样子。
Hey, have you ever tasted deer antler infused alcoholic drinks? Now I'm here to meet a specialist of deer breeding to know more about deer antlers and the benefits of this highly regarded Eastern medicine.
好，其实台湾原生的鹿科动物有3种嘛，一种是台湾水鹿，现在养最多，大概占90%。那第二就是台湾梅花鹿，这2个鹿科动物都是台湾的原生种。其实鹿茸我们现在在广义的使用方法来讲，会有3个方向，一个是泡酒，我们俗称叫酒萃，泡不同浓度的酒，配合不同的药材；一种是水萃，就传统中药煎煮的模式；一种是研磨成粉。这些都可以成为一个使用鹿茸的一个方式，从古到今有很多可见证的功效。不管从以前的那个药典《本草纲目》啦，什么医经就会都提到，甚至鹿茸当时还是帝王食补，当时就是只有皇帝才能够使用嘛，对不对？那我有一个很资深的中医师跟我讲一句话，我感触最深啦。我问他说鹿茸到底在吃什么？因为我养鹿，我很希望说鹿茸是吃什么。他跟我讲9个字啊，他是用台语讲。猪醒醉、醒醉酒、霸杯毒，那我觉得这个是可以很广义的来代表鹿茸它的养生的一个概念，就是当你循环好的时候啊，很多问题就解决了。所以鹿茸其实真的是一个养生保健的好东西。鹿茸就是它长出来到采收大概70天，就是成分精华最好的时候，我们像剪指甲一样把它采收下来。再来去切片泡制成酒，这是一般我们交给台湾饮酒公司的模式。当时也有大概30几个年头了，然后就是养鹿的前辈去争取用国产的鹿茸来泡制台湾鹿茸酒，那也开一支新的产品啊，这个也已经市场上有很长久的口碑，让多数人都能够接受，也很方便的取得，在各种通路啦、便利店都可以取得这个鹿茸酒，也成为很多人的养生的一个选择啦。
Medicinal spirits are less popular among the younger generation in Taiwan. However, this perception is starting to change, as medicinal and other botanical infused spirits are now increasingly visible in local bars. Let's find out more in Longtian Distillery.
我们每一种药味酒大概是汇集了至少像10全大补，就是10种以上的中药材嘛。那鹿茸酒就是也是10几种以上精挑细选的药材，那不同的药酒有不同的功效啦。对男性有帮助的这些鹿茸或者是神农酒，那女性朋友可能会买一些像龙凤酒。那龙凤酒对于女性的调养是效果会比较好，譬如让女性比较手脚不会冰冷。另外像五加啤酒，五加啤酒的话，习惯上我们认为说它是比较够筋骨的。所以其实每一种药酒有不一样的诉求啦，我们会依据药材的这个特性去做不同的前处理。那这个粉碎或者是切片是根据它这个中药的性质，有一些它这个药材湿度比较高，或者是它的纹理比较适合切片，那我们就用切片。接着我们会把刚刚说的这些中药材拿去装袋，然后浸泡到这个大的桶槽里面。只不过是说现在比较新的这些世代啊，那因为比较没有这样子的习惯跟需求，所以这些年轻人对于药酒就比较陌生，而且比较没有去接触。那在消费市场里面，药味酒是有这个老化的问题，很大一部分的市场份额是被其他的一些外来酒给分食掉了。因为你如果说一直强调药味酒的药性的话，可能不是那么容易打入市场。跟美食结合的话，民众喜欢了这些味道，然后跟它产生共鸣了，就会去买这些药味酒，会想要去了解。
When Taiwan's economy started to boom in the 1950s, the need for housing and infrastructure became evident. The rapid development created a high demand for labor. By the 1980s, medicinal spirits had become a popular drink among the working class. Even till this day, many Taiwanese workers rely on these drinks to keep themselves energetic during long hours of intensive labor. As a result, pre-mixed medicinal alcohol drinks make a good business in Taiwan. While the laboring class in Taiwan may consume more alcohol on average than others, they drink moderately. After all, they don't drink to get drunk, they drink to get recharged. They believe it's their health and energy boost, containing itsy-bitsy teeny-weeny bits of alcohol. The workers in Taiwan have their own way of enjoying medicinal spirits. Despite not being professional mixologists, they produce fascinating concoctions. I come to meet Mr. Lin Li-qing. He spent more than 10 years observing the working class in Taiwan, and he's the author of the book Workers, which has been adapted into a TV series and a movie, achieving great resonance.
我们当监工的训练就是要禁止工地的饮酒，因为第一个危险嘛，第二个酒驾，然后第三个你在操作精细作业、危险作业的时候有酒，其实会让人判断力有时候丧失。可是如果你去看全世界的话，就是这不是台湾独有文化。最早的话，英国的工人喝琴酒，德国的工人喝野酒。你说现在的次五家，俄罗斯人喝的，伏特加以前也是低阶百姓喝的酒，高级人欧洲是喝葡萄酒嘛。它已经成为一种你在工地里面，我们基于比如男子气概或长幼有序或所谓的劳动阶层表示敬意的一种方式。我们会拿个保利达威士忌去讨论协调，表示善意。它已经成为这样的文化在里面的时候，无法切割。我其实，在第二本书有讨论过，大概有几个系统。第一种系统叫汽水，因为这也是劳工很喜欢喝的，尤其夏天消暑解渴。第二种调，比如说绿茶，因为味道会淡掉，它可以冲淡掉它的药味。那还有一个系统是奶类，沙沙亚椰奶，它是一个可以常温保存的。还有一些有趣的调法，比如说调机能饮料。我们说最后有2个比较禁忌的，就是9套酒。保利达加米酒，这个很久了，我爸爸那年代就有。
哇，这个更烈，这个
更烈，
根本上就是在喝酒了。
是，还有保利达加米酒头，米酒头比较好，
那更烈。
保利达加高粱，我到现在还是跟他们说不要在工作场所喝酒。有一些东西是我们的文化觉得不好，可是它在我们的文明历史里面早就已经存在太久了，那它已经是文化的一部分。吃文化也是文化嘛，你要开始对症下药，先去理解它。然后你再来思考怎么解决。
I have a thing for medicinal spirits made with wu jia pi. Its earthy, bitter taste is wonderful. Furthermore, it could also be seen in the famous dish Buddha's temptation. So I have arranged a lunch tasting with gourmet Mr. Xu Zhong at Formosa Restaurant in the Howard Plaza Hotel Taipei. I'm ready to be inspired and learn more about how medicinal spirits are used in cuisines.
酒萃是一个很有趣的概念。如果以药效而言，并不建议你一直放，因为并不是说你放越久药效越好，没有，药就是这样。但是如果以风味而言，那就不见得了。所以台湾坊间有的是我这个自己泡的，自己放了10年了，自己放20年的。那除了是一个记忆，一个岁月的记忆之外，在某个程度上，酒精在存放的时候，它的风味也会改变。那我觉得，亚洲，尤其是在亚洲地菜，越是有钱的，他在菜里面，他越不喜欢去喧哗。那有时候就是在幽微味道，就是酒，加一点点的感觉。越是平常，厨师越要展现他的不平常，这就是中菜的奥妙。我觉得菜入酒最漂亮的一件事情，不只是味道，它还可能让你内心中觉得我好像有一点微醺的感觉，但又不至于真的会醉。芋头跟排骨，然后还有加鸡肉，好，那这几个东西在熬煮过程中释放出来的鲜味是属于植物还有肉类的，但我们需要一些海味，所以有干贝啊、鲍鱼啊。那会再加上鱼皮，然后淘洗的像鹌鹑蛋。那你另外熬汤，再把这些东西放在一起的时候，也需要一个桥梁。那这桥梁通常就是药酒，所以台湾通常是用五加啤酒，师傅有时候也会自己泡药酒。那这个药酒在处理的过程中，它就是把它这一些所谓中药材的美好的辛香料味道，用酒萃取出来以后加下去滚，它是当做一个桥梁，把所有的食材的味道给融成一体。我觉得这是台湾佛跳墙最美好的一卦。对我们而言，酒是很美好的一个载体，因为它带来是看不见的，对生活的期望，往往会存在这一些你加进去的东西，所以你加一些党参啊，加一些枸杞啊，你希望眼睛明亮啊，你希望身体健康啊， 做菜的人把祝福再透过菜送给宾客，而宾客透过这个味道去体会款待的心，而款待往往就是台菜最重要的心意。
Do you have any family traditions or remedies that involve alcoholic drinks? Share yours in the comments below. For more stories about alcoholic beverages in Taiwan, follow us on TaiwanPlus.